Welcome to Pisces Tarot, and I am your host, Mimi the Light Seer. Your business is my business. Today, we will dive into your business with a timeless relationship reading, which means it could be platonic, professional, or romantic. In this session, we will explore the overall energy of your reading, obtain cosmic insights to identify the topics, spill the tea on the energies involved, uncover the positives and the negatives while revealing the lessons that you need to learn, and suggest actions for healings and the best possible outcomes. Remember, this is a general reading, and you have found it when this message is needed. Please take what resonates and leave the rest. Remember, I am LGBTQ plus friendly, using pronouns for storytelling purposes. Lastly, please like, rate, subscribe, and comment. Let me know how this message is connecting with you. And without further ado, let's get into your business.
Good morning, beautiful souls. Welcome to Pisces Tarot, everybody. I am your host. I am Mimi Lightseer, and over here at Pisces Tarot, your business is my business. And child, we're going to get into somebody's business today. Listen, before I start spilling the tea, today's experience may be just a little bit different. Somehow I lost all of my tools, i.e. sounds, that I normally play. So things may be a little bit different, maybe a little bit quiet, but I'll work on getting that back in the meantime. Also, before we start spilling the tea and getting into these cards, I have some exciting announcements for you guys. Number one, y'all, we do have new merch live in the Pisces Tarot shop, so don't forget to go ahead and pick yours up today. Y'all know I love me a good coffee cup, okay? So we got some new coffee cups out here. I am booking one-on-one appointments. So if you want to do a personal reading with me, you can do so at this time on my website, even though spaces are limited. Make sure you go ahead and book your appointment today at PiscesTarot.com. And lastly, if you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe and join my YouTube channel, y'all. You'll never miss a live, okay? I know that the timing has been a little wonky the last couple of days. Trying to figure out what time works best. I did put a poll in the community that I would love for you to participate in, and let me know what time works best for you so we can find something that is mutually doable for the both of us, okay? Now, before we get any further, let's get into it. I gotta say good morning to all of my guppies, my friends who are on the graveyard shift. Get into my international family. Welcome to all of my guests who are coming from all over the globe. Welcome. If you are new to the Pisces Tarot, go ahead and put a star in the chat. If you're a returning friend, go ahead and drop your fish and claim your seats, y'all. We want to make sure that we, Grand Rising, we want to make sure that we welcome everybody from wherever you are. Welcome. And let's go ahead and get into this, y'all. Now, this is how we flowing, okay? So this is the agenda. We're going to go ahead and do a brief energy cleanse, which is breath work and sound bowl cleansing. Then we'll shoot on over to the divine insights. I actually took down some notes, y'all, from where Spirit woke me up day before yesterday with some stuff. That's how behind I am right now, but I have it in my phone, so I did write down some messages for you guys. We'll get into this overall energy reading, followed by the tarot card reading, clarify anything that we had missed, and then we'll bookend this with some closing thoughts. All right. Now, before I take a step further, okay, this is so important that I tell you this, and Spirit has been reiterating this, okay? So this is how I know that this is important to share with you guys. Now, before I even pull a single card, and y'all that's been rocking with me, y'all know, when I say something early on, usually those things come to pass and the evidence falls out in the cards, right? But let me tell you this. Be careful where you're getting your information from. And I don't care if it's me. I don't care if it's the news. I mean, people, right? Be careful where you're getting your information from. Let's talk about discernment, because everything, and I do mean everything, is of a spirit, okay? It's not of the spirit. It is of a spirit, okay? And the reason why I'm saying this to you is because we are living in a time where people are using they're weaponizing information, okay? So it's important to know that everything that is being said to you, everything that seems to be coincidental, everything that may seem to be important may not be meant to lead you to freedom. And the reason why I say that is because it's a spiritual warfare going on out here, as you know. That's not nothing new, right? This has been going on since the beginning of time. But what is new is that we are being bombarded with messaging all day long. And the messaging that you may be receiving may not be of divine lights and of divine spirit. And you have to be careful about that, okay? We are living in a time of heightened spiritual warfare, and the dark world is busy. Okay, it is busy. I mean, it's always been busy, but it just seems like it just got more time today. Okay, so good morning, Dominique. So I say that to say, okay, you got to understand that these spiritual forces and entities that are out there, they are definitely coming to not only steal, kill, and to destroy. Okay, period. Right? That is a spiritual law. Okay, not necessarily religious, but that is a spiritual law, right? That you have these entities that are out here working. Okay, and with that being said, the most dangerous way that it captivates people is through spiritual deception. Okay, period. Deception is the biggest way that people are being captivated. Okay, so what I'm telling you is, when we think about light versus darkness, right versus, good versus whatever, we always think that evil shows up in a pitchfork, a mask, steaming, a tail, and it's not always that, right? Evil can show up in the face of a loved one. It can show up in the face of, a coworker, someone you appreciate, someone you admire, etc. So my point in saying is that you got to be careful where you are getting your information from, because if you are not, how do I say this? If you are vulnerable to just believing everything that you hear and from the source without checking and verifying the source, you can become victim to spiritual deception, which puts you in a form of bondage. Okay. So I say all that to say, I want you to keep in mind to make sure that you keep, truth in the context in which it's given to you. And also understand that your discernment is not optional. It is essential to success. Okay. Knowledge is good, but without knowledge, it can be weaponized. Okay. Knowledge without understanding can be weaponized. All right. So you need to apply that with your integrated wisdom, which is something we've been talking about all year, the importance of integrated wisdom. You need to take that and make sure that you're following, what is your spirit saying? Okay. If it doesn't agree with you, then just disregard, right? But that's where your discernment comes in, okay? So I'm saying that because this has been something that spirit has been definitely communicated with me, and I always share it with you, okay? So spirit is saying, don't just gather insight, test it, okay? Don't just follow the vibe, check the source. Check the source, right? When you find out that your favorite celebrity might have passed away, what do? You Google first, right? You like, that's a rumor. You check the source, okay? This is no different from that. All right, this is no different from that, okay? Just because something resonates doesn't make it righteous, okay? Doesn't mean it is specifically meant for you or it's coming from a good space. I mean, I've told you guys about how I've gotten into financial bondage, right? Talking to people, getting them to, give me some type of insight, and guess what? They was wrong. They was wrong as three left shoes, okay? And was misleading me down a path that wasn't for my highest and my greatest good. So that's why I'm telling you this, okay? It's for a reason. Just because it sounds spiritual doesn't make it of the heavenlies, right? Just because it's like, that's how deception works, folks, okay? I don't need to elaborate that anymore, right? And just because somebody speaks to you with conviction doesn't mean that they're speaking with authority from the Most High either. Look, we got confirmation with that thumbs up, okay? So you're being invited to a higher level of discernment and a level that allows you to observe without absorbing. And I want you to let that sit in. Observe, but don't absorb. Okay? Lastly, all right? Receive insight with your spiritual filters on. Okay? To trust in knowing and trust in your inner knowing. Even when the message comes wrapped up in glitter, you have to trust that if it's for you, you will know. Stop making something that ain't yours be yours. Okay? Just because you want to hear about you, that's what personal and private readings are about. Okay? We can talk specifically about you. All right? These are collectives. It ain't going to apply to 100% of people 100% of the time. All right? Lastly, this is not about fear. This is about spiritual maturity. So I want you to always ask yourself, okay, when you're listening, what is this message producing in me? Does it sound like clarity or does it sound like confusion? Is it is it feeding my spirit or stroking my ego? Okay. So I want you, before we get started, I want you just to say to yourself, I trust the voice of the divine that is within me. I walk in clarity, not in confusion. I protect my peace and I honor my knowing. Because your inner knowing is going to know. Your inner knowing is going to know. All right. So if that hit your spirit, I want you to go ahead and drop the dove in the chat. Or you could just type in I hear you, spirit. Because that's something very, very, very important. And I know that takes up a lot of time for me to articulate that every day. But that is something very, very important the spirit has had me to share with you. All right. So let's go ahead and get ready to cleanse the space, mind, body, and soul before we jump into today's energies. All right. So if y'all ready, here we go. All right, you guys, let's align before we dive deep. We're going to take in 3 deep breaths and hold it. The first one, we're going to inhale peace and exhale pressure. All right, that is your first sign. If it's pressure, confusion, it ain't of God. All right, here we go. Let's inhale clarity and exhale confusion. And last one, let's inhale alignment and exhale whatever is not yours. That's it, y'all. That's it. Always makes my feet tingle. All right, here we go. Divine Spirit, we welcome you in. Wrap us in the space with clarity, compassion, and clean intention. Let what needs to be said rise up and flow freely. Amen. Thank you. And I say. Okay, now, y'all, this is a space that is safe, but also can get a little spicy. Okay, it can get a little spicy. So today's message comes for your edges or your wigs. Just know that you're not alone, all right? If you're ready to hear what spirit is starting to cook, y'all, go ahead and drop those cooking emojis, cooking emojis, cooking emojis. Because, baby, listen, I don't know how this going to sound without no sound today, but we're going to get to it, all right? If y'all ready, here we go. Now, y'all know, before I do any session, okay, I always take a minute to tap in with spirit and to listen to see what spirit is saying to us, right? And as I mentioned early on a couple of days ago, yes, that's how behind I am. We ain't gonna talk about that though. Spirit woke me up and gave me a list of things which I've noted in my phone. Okay, so that's why I'm looking at my phone. But long story short, before I do anything, I always take a minute to stop to see what is spirit saying to me. Okay, and what is the messages that he wants to get through me to talk to you. And sometimes we know it's a lyric, it could be a download, which is what I got for you today. And sometimes it could be just whatever, right? And so spirit said to me the other day the importance of gratitude, okay? And it was really about gratitude and talking about how your faith and gratitude go hand in hand, okay? And this always hits because I don't care what you believe from a religious standpoint. From a spiritual standpoint, you cannot complain about anything and be grateful at the same time. If you have that true spirit of gratitude, it is going to be embedded in everything that you do, right? You see the beauty in everything. And because you have such gratitude, that helps cultivate your levels of faith. Now, you probably say, what does gratitude have to do with faith? What is that relationship like? Well, expressing gratitude is the strongest evidence of our faith. Okay? It's the strongest gratitude. Expressing gratitude is the strongest evidence of our faith. So I'll give you an example. This morning, I told you guys when I was getting started, I realized that everything that I have for when I go live, that whole folder, all of my stuff that I've been keeping for years, suddenly was deleted, disappeared. I don't know how I lost it. It's gone. So that's why we don't have sound effects today. But I was like, surely, this is just me. I said, surely, God, there's somewhere, there is somewhere I have something backed up, right? And so when I started thinking about it, I was like, I don't care about everything I can re-download. All my designs I can redesign, even though I don't want to do this. All these things I can redo. But the sounds, all the sounds that I've collected. And sure enough, I Googled, how could you find, refine your trash can if it's been emptied on MacBook. And sure enough, I found some instructions and I found my sounds. Okay. Now I'm going to have to retweak everything and re-go through everything. But I am grateful because at the end of the day, if I have to go back and do that little legwork, that is so minimum compared to what I was going to have to do to start all over from scratch. Okay. And I am grateful that I have what I need. And I'm thankful, but I had faith that it had to be somewhere. It had to be somewhere. I have to be able to recover this from somewhere because to my knowledge, that trash can is empty. Okay. So that's just a small example of how gratitude is illustrative of your faith. Okay. Number 3, calling things into existence as if they already exist today. And this is the biggest thing. This is the biggest thing because so many times we speak what we don't have and we give life to even more of what we don't have. And Spirit is saying that is not your faith. That is your fear speaking. If you want a husband or a wife, stop talking about how men and women out here ain't skit or talking about how it's piss in the dating pool. Okay, yes, that's the obvious, right? But if your faith is speaking, then you have to trust and believe and be thankful for every opportunity that you have to meet another person because you don't know whether or not that person is your person or not. But when they show you who they are, believe it. When they show you that they're not the person for you, believe it and be thankful for that experience because it taught you something. Believe it or not, it taught you something. But also, let your faith speak louder by saying, let me pull back. If this is not the right person, let me not force it. Let me pull back. But don't verbalize that anger, that resentment, that frustration. Don't verbalize that because that is speaking of your fear and not of your faith. Okay. The other thing that was said was true faith is invisible and immaterial, which goes back. Thank you, Jody, for my gift. Thank you, Lovely, for my gifts. That goes back to what I was just saying as well about not being able to see it. You got to trust it. Okay. You got to trust it. True faith is invisible and immaterial. It ain't going to make sense. It ain't going to look like how you want it to look like. It's not going to be how you want it to be. It's going to be none of those things. But if you truly have faith, you have to give thanks for what it is. Now, I'll give you a real life example that's applicable to everybody right now, right? Times is hard financially. Things are expensive, right? Some of us don't know how we're going to make ends meet from one place to the other. Every time you turn around, it's a bill and it's higher and higher than what you expected, right? I'm going to tell y'all something personal. Me. This is what I do. Before my paycheck hit, I just say, Lord, I thank you. Now, this is me. This is my religious view. This is all of that, okay? Not influencing yours, just me. I thank you for stretching my paycheck like 2 fish and 5 loaves of bread. Let every bill that come forth with my name on it be paid on time and full. And let me have enough left over. I don't know how it happens. It happens every time. Every time, because the math don't be mathing. But when I look in the account, it be some dollar signs there and it ain't red. Okay? So that's what I'm talking about, right? Just making sure that you understand that true faith is invisible and immaterial. But the evidence of your faith, when it comes to pass, you see it and you're thankful for it. The least you should be. If you're not grateful for it, then it should be, it's something wrong with you. Okay? I just hate to say it that bluntly, but it's something wrong with you. Okay, the next thing that was said was trusting the process is a testament of our faith. Trusting the process is the testament of our faith, which goes back to gratitude. I can't tell you how many times, and I know y'all ready for me to get to these cards, but I gotta dump it off and make it tangible, right? So I would tell you, trusting the process is a testament of our faith. I will tell you a personal story, and I think you might have heard me tell y'all this before. Jeepers, had a hole in my mouth. Okay, when I first moved to Atlanta 20 years ago, so that gives you some perspective. When I first moved to Atlanta 20 years ago, I moved here with $150 to my name. By the time I got here, I had only $50 left because gas was $5 a gallon. It was a big, if y'all remember 20 years ago, it was a big hurricane came through. Gas was $5 across the country because the hurricane destroyed the pipeline and gas was limited. You couldn't go places and get gas. You had to go to the hood to get gas because it was gas nowhere. You know, it was a shortage. And so by the time I got here, I only had $50 left. And I was couch surfing on people's couches. I didn't have any license, insurance, none of that stuff. Just driving dirty. My point in saying all of this to you guys is this. It was a process that I went through. And I had to trust it. And I had to walk by faith. And I had to be thankful for every door that was opened and closed. Because when I look back over it all, to be where I am today speaks to that process. And even though it was painful, even though it was dirty, even though it was nasty as I was going through those moments, okay, looking back and looking at who I am now as a homeowner, as a business owner, as this, as that, it worked out. Okay. And if you look back with honesty over your life, you will see where those things have come into fruition in your life as well. Okay. The process may not be measurable and requires patience, which can be discouraging. Okay. Which speaks back to that point that I just made about when I first moved here. Negative energy is a breeding ground for spiritual warfare. Okay. Which points back to what I said before. You can know it, but you don't need to speak it. You don't need to say it. You don't have to articulate everything. We know. We know. If you're experiencing a job loss and you're going through hard times, we know. That's assumed. If you don't have money coming in, it's difficult, right? You don't have to express that. Just be thankful that you're one step closer to your new job. You're one step closer to whatever it is. I'm using these things as examples just to try to make it simple and resonate, okay? Because the more you speak negatively over things, the more you're going to attract that energy. So that's why this is so important, okay? That's why that is super important, okay? Just because something is delayed doesn't mean it is not happening, okay? Just because something is delayed does not mean it is not happening. Listen, going back to the dating conversation, we know that it's exhausting. Nobody has to keep going through all these false starts and getting all excited about somebody just to find out that this ain't your person, which goes back to that deception, right? Which goes back to that spiritual warfare. Just like the heavenlies and the angels know what you're believing in or believing for, so does the enemy, okay? And the enemy will cloak a counterfeit in everything that you want and everything that you desire. But you got to pay attention to that energy, which is that discernment, right? But my point in saying this is just because it's slow at coming into fruition does not mean nothing's happening. And if you find yourself getting frustrated with the process of whatever it is that you're going through, just pull back your energy. Start focusing your energy somewhere else, doing something else. Focusing on you. You would, I mean, like, I know it seems preposterous to say this, but if you're experiencing a job loss, go down and volunteer at the homeless shelter. And you will become very thankful very quickly for having a house over your head. And even though it's tight, having the money to pay your bills, right? You'll get grateful real quick, okay? Um, it's your job to still believe. It is your job to still believe. Period. It don't matter what it look like. It don't matter what it feel like. It don't matter what you think. It's your job to believe. That's what your faith is all about. And sometimes you have to recalibrate that faith. Mm, mm, mm. Sometimes you have faith in the wrong things. Sometimes you have faith in the wrong people. It happens, right? But just because that was the right faith with the wrong person does not mean that your faith is contaminated. You still keep on believing. You still keep on believing. Okay? That's your job. I don't care how ridiculous it sounds. I don't care how whatever. It's your job to believe. It's your job to believe. That's it. Every time I drive by a real nice house that I know is out of my coin today, ooh, I thank you that one day I'm going to have a house just like this. And I'm going to pull up in my brand new Porsche and it's going to be parked right there. It's out. It's out of my hands. Dreams and visions do come true. Okay? And lastly, be thankful for what your journey has to offer you because it is equipping you for the next level. Now, I know that that's a lot. Okay? I know that that's a lot. Spirit, he said all of that in one setting. Okay? And that took up a lot of time today. But he wanted me to tell you this because it is about what you believe in. Are you standing on belief? Are you standing on belief or are you standing on unbelief? Okay? Now, let's get this show on the road. Take what resonates with you and pause. If it hits deep, it is a reason that all of this stuff has found you. All right? So, good morning, moving. If y'all ready to get into this, I want y'all to put y'all hallelujah hands, raised hands, whatever they call these emojis. Put this emoji in the chat and let's get into it. Here we go. All right, y'all. I didn't pull down a lot of cards this morning because that's not what Spirit told me to do. So, we're going to get into this. Spirit, what is the overall energy for today's reading? Okay. The Oracle's gift. The Oracle's gift. All right. Now, whenever we look at cups in tarot, this always references emotions and feelings, the warm and fuzzies of everything, right? When we think about the cups, this is your emotional state. Okay, this is your emotional state. What are you feeling? What are you thinking? This is very interesting because while you can't see it in totality, what is happening here with the camera today? Whoa, that is bonkers. Hold on. You know what? When you have something to say, I promise you, things just start going bonkers, wayward. Let me try this. Nope. Okay, I don't know what this is about today, folks. That's odd. Let me try one more thing to see if that's going to remedy this. If not, I don't know what to say, and I do apologize. But you can't see here. See, that's the enemy. There ain't nothing but the enemy. Always trying to mess. I will say this. What's interesting about today is that, remember I told you guys when I got ready to do my reading today that that I realized I lost my filter. I mean, I lost my nope. Remember I told you guys I lost my folder and all those things. So, yeah. That's what type of time we on today. That's what type of time we on today. But we're going to keep on keeping on, okay? I just hate that this looks like this, but we're going to keep it moving. I don't know what that is. I swear I don't know why this is. All right. So, moving said, we see it, but the quality of it ain't good. I don't play that. All right. Anyway, so if you look at this card, we have a string here, and we also have like the triangle that is there, okay? And so there's some lights coming out of here. That's where I want you to see it. Let me put it this way. You see it now? You see that energy coming from there? Okay? But then you see that triangle, which is reflective of fire energy, okay? So somebody has this type of energetic pull, okay? There is a resurgence, there is a passion, there is a strength, there is a malignant. Now I can't talk. In the world, there's a lot of things going on, okay? But it's about emotions, and it's a gift, okay? It is a gift. This is bothering me, y'all. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. I'm still gonna keep talking, but I'm gonna try to troubleshoot this, because, like, what is this? What is this? Like, why is this here? Anyway, we talk about love. We talk about the things, the willingness, the believing in it, the love, the love, the love. This is about love. What is truly love? Like, I am so annoyed with this, y'all. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. All right. What do you truly believe in love? Who do you want to attach yourself to? And I'm pointing out this string that is here on this card. All right. There's a string here. Who are you connected to? Who are you tied to? All right. Who are you tied to? Now, what is the truth that you need to hear right now for your journey? It's been a long time coming with this connection, a long time coming. There has been a lot of faith, a lot of prayers, a lot of hope and wishing with the stars on here. There's been a lot of things being brought to the light surrounding this circumstance with this person recently. And it may be a little bit confusing, but inviting. When I say the word confusing, it's more so like unsure, uncertainty. Okay? It's that uncertainty that has been a little problematic with this connection. All right? So let's keep that in the mind. Okay? Now, what is the truth that you need to hear right now for your journey? Change. I understand that nothing can grow or evolve without movement. So this is going back to trusting your process. All right? Trusting your process. Things change. People change. Opinions change. Circumstances change. Right? Everything changes. The color blue is sticking out to me on both of these cards. And when we think about the color blue, that speaks to more so of the throat chakra. So there's a lot of conversations that are coming up, that are being had, going back to what I mentioned previously about the illumination. Okay? There's been a lot to come to the forefront concerning this connection. Guides of the hidden realms. What messages do you have for us today? What is being hidden from us? The eyes of mystery. Mystery, uncharted territory, and the deep knowing. Now, let me pause. If y'all been listening to me ramble for the last 30 minutes, I know. What have I been talking to you about when I was talking to you about discernment? If you've been listening, I want you to put that in the chat. What did I tell you was the most important thing to validate with your discernment? I'm going to start telling y'all to come with paper, pen, and notebooks when we come up here. Because y'all be listening, but y'all ain't listening. You can't pass the test. No, I'm just playing. But it's about the deep knowing. The deep knowing. I can't make this up. The deep knowing. Okay? Mystery, uncharted territory, and the deep knowing. Now there's a saying that goes and says, rather, you can always look into the eyes of a person, they tell it all. That deep knowing. Forgive me. When you look in people's eyes, you can tell if they're crazy. And when I say crazy, I mean like loony. Okay. You can also see when their spirit is good, when their spirit is not so good. You can see their intentions. You can see their motives, right? That's why people focus on look me in the eye, right? But you can see that even more so when you look at pictures of people. I'm not going to project and say you can, because you may not have that spiritual gift. I can say that for me, I can. Whenever something catastrophic happens on the news and they put up the mug shot, I just be looking at their picture like, you did it. You guilty. I could just see it in their eyes. And I know that's not right, but I can just see it, right? So pay attention to the eyes. But this is about the mystery and unknown charted territory and that deep knowing. And the reason why I'm prefacing all of this with that and saying, I don't want to give you false hope, but I will make it relatable. In your deepest heart, when we're talking about this particular individual, there is a deep knowing that there is a connection here with this person. It is scary. But it's full of passion, and it's full of excitement. Siri, nobody's talking to you. Siri, stop. I can't wait till Apple give me my money. Y'all see how the devil busy today? Ain't nobody said nothing about no doggone SIRI, and here she come playing music. Okay. But it's scary. It is very unanticipated. And a part of you wants to proceed with caution. And you should proceed with caution. Because while you are excited and while it is inciting, there's a lot to be left desired about this connection. Okay, there's a lot left to be desired. There has not been the wording, the intentionality. It has not been aligned particularly with the wording. And what is being said and what is being done in this connection are not so it's not so I don't know what the right word is right now, but it's leaving a lot to be desired. All right, so now I'm about to start pulling cards on the potential people that are involved. Okay, so think about it. Okay, again, everything is not going to be for everybody, but if it hits you, holler. Y'all, this day. All right, so what is some of the first insights that we have? I'm thankful for this day being like this, because if I hadn't come live today, I wouldn't have known something was wrong with the camera. I wouldn't have known that I accidentally deleted my files. all those things, right? So I'm grateful for it. I just don't like the way it makes me feel in this moment. Earth sign. There is a third party earth sign involved here. There is a Taurus, Virgo, or a Capricorn. And when we talk about earth signs, that does not always equate to a romantic relationship. It can be platonic as well. But there is a third party earth sign involved, a Taurus, Virgo, or Capricorn. Okay. Hmm. What is the T? What in the world? Hmm. No facts. Never has the facts, makes things up, and lies. Okay. So somebody is always accusing someone of something, but they don't have proof. They make things up and it's nothing but lies, which goes back to that discernment piece. Okay. What lies beneath all of this, spirit? Knowing. Here we go again with this word. Knowing. Knowing they messed up. And y'all see that fire behind here? That explosion? I wouldn't be surprised if somebody in this connection is a fire sign. Okay? I would not be surprised if it comes out that we have a fire sign here, but knowing they messed up. Okay? Knowing they messed up. So it could be that we have a third party situation where there was some infidelity. When we look into the broken mirror, what do we see? When we look into the broken mirror, spirit, what do we see? Broken mirrors, addictions, roller coasters, toxic connections. Okay. So there's a lot of addictive behavior here. This is an emotional roller coaster, which goes back to what I was mentioning earlier when we talked about the Oracle's gift with that card, emotions and feelings and thoughts. But then we also have a toxic connection here. Okay. So somebody's playing games, in other words. What is the yin and the yang here, spirit? I took my nails off and we still can't shuffle. No, I'm just playing. Yin and yang. Okay. Abundance, windfall, which we got fire sign behind here, so it has something to do with money. Okay. But there are gifts, celebration, promotion, opportunities, successful ventures. Okay. So fire here again. But we know all money and opportunities are not good money and opportunities. Okay. So something came about here that has caused great distress. Hmm. Something came with a gotcha. Round and round, cycles, triggers, lessons. Okay, this has been a round and round circular activity that is dealing with cycles, triggers, and lessons. Cycles, triggers, and lessons. Okay, that's that pattern. Hmm. All right, whining and dining, courtship, consistently dating, romance, and passion. Okay, so somebody in this connection has been getting wined and dined. Okay, somebody in this connection was getting wined and dined. All right, it's interesting too because love bombing shot out. It shot out when I picked up the cards, but because I wasn't shuffling, I was like, But love bombing did come out. Okay, so I'm going to keep this here just as a little FYI. All right, somebody. This is a mess. Lastly, what is the true crime here? We got cult. What is this? Pervasion. Hmm. Remember I spoke about earlier, y'all? Because that card was sticking out. Remember we were speaking about earlier about the eyes, and I said how you can always tell um, by looking at a person's eyes, you like where their spirit space is. We have cult here, and the word cult here is not here for the reasons that you think it's here. It's more so like being under the influence of some type of entity, some type of uh it feels more like the influence of ego and what it would feel and look like to be a part of a crew, a part of a clique, a part of a lifestyle. That's how that feels to me. Under the influence. Oh, child. Mm. I think that person A and person B, I think the cards kind of fell where they needed to fall this morning. I don't think it's any reason for us to realign the energies. Sweet Tea said must be a Leo. I'm telling you, because we got a lot of fire signs coming up. A lot of fire. I think everything fell the way that it needed to fall. But there are some regrets here. All right. So go ahead and drop those zodiac signs in the chat. Let's figure out whose business we about to get into this morning. You can go ahead and drop those zodiac signs in the chat. Remember, all right, I do my readings for Sun, Moon, Venus, and Rising. Sun, Moon, Venus, and Rising. So just because I don't call out your immediate element group doesn't mean that I ain't talking about you. Don't mean that this ain't a space for you to be nosy and just see what's going on. because I'm trying to tell you there's always something going on in the world, okay? All right, so let's see. If you think you know who I'm talking about, I want you just to say me. If you think you know who I'm talking about, I want you just to say me. Y'all, this camera is getting on my nerves this morning. All right. Lorraine said me. Sweet Tea said me. All right, Spirit. Give me a reflection of person A. Who is person A? What is their current under energy? Give me person A. We can't make it up, right? Person A is the Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. That girl good. All right. Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, you are coming in today as the Five of Wands in reverse. You're trying to avoid conflict, respect differences, agree to disagree, and diversity. Okay? If you or your person is a fire sign, I want you to go ahead and put that fire sign down in the chat. If you or your person is a fire sign, just put the little fire emoji down in the chat. All right, person B. Person B is coming in this morning as a Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. Coming in as a King of Swords, upright. All right, so if you or your person is a Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, go ahead and put that cloud in the cloud emoji down in the chat. You're coming in as head over heart, disciplined, truthful, honest, mental clarity, and authority. Okay? Woo-wee. I don't know about y'all, but I'm ready to get into this. Listen, we don't judge. We about to zoom in, find out the tea, and come on up out of this thing, all right? If y'all ready to get into this reading, I want you to go ahead and put your magnifying glasses, because, child, it's time for us to go ahead and get into this, all right? Here we go. Now, for those of you who are just joining, I'm sorry it's quiet today, a little bit boring. I had a whole doozy about this. We'll fix it, all right? All right, now, this is where the spirit meets the message, okay? Everything that I was telling you before, y'all, is going to come into fruition. So if you did miss the beginning of this reading, you can always go back and watch it on YouTube, okay? But this is where I'm going to confirm what Spirit said earlier, all right? So it's time for us to get down into this business, all right? We got person A and person B. Now, if I say he, she, they, them, I'm just telling the story, y'all. Take what resonates with you and leave what doesn't. The energy, let me say this too. Just because I'm calling this person A, you could be person A and be the Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, okay? And vice versa, all right? So, let's get down into the get down. Ooh, this camera's getting on my nerves, y'all. All right, here we go. Thank you for my gift, Sweet Tea. Thank you, last, for my gift. All right, here we go, y'all. Hit that like button, hit that like button, hit that like button. Share, subscribe, follow, whatever you need to do. All right, here we go. What is going on with person A and all of this, Spirit? Ooh. Person A is coming in right now as the World card in reverse. Ooh, person A. Person A has run into a bad business decision. Okay? They made a bad business decision. I don't know what this person does for a living. It feels very entrepreneurial. Okay? Feels very entrepreneurial is the best word. It feels like they have something that they've been working towards. It feels like they may be successful at being an entrepreneur, maybe at that point where there's transitioning into becoming an official business owner. For those of you who don't know the difference, um, you can be a uh, entrepreneur, but if you don't have employees, you're not a business owner, right? So it feels like they are gravitating towards the space of becoming a business owner. And it feels like they have made a very, very bad deal with somebody. Okay. And that bad deal could be with this third party earth sign. That could be a business partner. But it doesn't feel like this business partner is all business. Okay. So while it has proven to be successful for them, while it has proven to have given them the outcome of what they wanted, right? This is where we talk about the importance of discernment and deception and spiritual bondage and all of those things, right? What I am telling you is that in this situation, they know they messed up. They know they messed up. This camera is getting on my nerves, y'all. They know they messed up. Okay, they know they have messed up. And what's crazy is that instead of them trying to make the best of the situation in which they are, they've made some really bad decisions, y'all. Really, really, really bad decisions. And it is coming to bite them. Okay, it is definitely coming to bite them. It is coming to a place where they are now learning how to. I gotta fix this camera. This ain't gonna work. This just ain't gonna work for me. Um, it's coming to a place where their ego, their immaturity, being overzealous, in other words, doing too much. Okay, doing too much. Their mind was in the right place when they undertook this endeavor, but like I said, it came with some hidden strings attached. And I'm not going to say that this is turning into a romantic situation, but I do feel like there have been some lines crossed with this connection with this third party. Okay? There have been some lines crossed. And while that has proven beneficial financially, emotionally, this is a disaster. This is an absolute disaster. So for their major arcana to come in as their present energy with their foundational energy, this tells me they're not facing this head on. They know they made a bad decision. They're trying to keep the peace. They're trying to keep things from hitting the fan, but it definitely feels like things are about to pop off. Things are about to explode, right? It's at a boiling point. Things cannot sustain going down this path like this. Okay? This is chaotic. This is confusing. This is all the things, right? And that pressure that we talked about in the beginning of this reading is very much so here right now, guys. This person is under a lot of pressure. This person is under a lot of anxiety and grief. Like a lot of high stakes things are going on here with this person right now. Good morning, Belinda. So let me say this. This Aries, Leo, Sagittarius that we speak of, they know they messed up. They're just trying to figure, I mean, we know that. That's the obvious. They know they messed up. But what they're trying to do is smooth things over without drawing attention to it. Because they know the minute that they give you an inkling that something is off, that something is wrong here, child, they know. They know. And person B has already been suspicious of this. So this is that additive that they just don't need. This is that added stress that they just don't need, right? Because they know that person B has always been suspicious about this other third party person, but now they got proof. See, they were suspicious before because we said they had no facts. They never had the facts. They make things up and all they do is tell lies. But it was their spirit leading them. There was their spirit preemptively warning them that this is not a good connection. Now, maybe the way that they went about saying it, maybe the way that they went about doing it was wrong. But they had a feeling, they had this knowing that something about this situation was off. Okay? Now, person B, this Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. Mm. Five of Cups in reverse. Ooh wee. Five of Cups in reverse, y'all. Okay? This Gemini, Libra, Aquarius is so disappointed. They are so disappointed. They are crushed. They are angry with themselves because they made that head over heart decision to continue to go down this path with you. They believed in you when you didn't believe in yourself. They were lending their faith even when their greater self was telling them, remember I said this in the beginning, someone is scared. Okay, someone is scared. They've never been here before, but they're open. The passion is there. That excitement is there. Doesn't necessarily mean it is good, right? But it's there. It's all the things are there, but something is still missing. So for this Aries, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, okay, coming in, they're very, very hurt, very, very disappointed. They're sitting around waiting to be chosen, okay? They've been in very much so a lot of thought about the way that things are going. They're not happy about the way things are going. They're very disturbed about how things have been going. They're very, very, very frustrated in how things have been going, but they're very disappointed. Okay, crushed, devastated, if I'm being honest. They feel like this is all games. Okay, all games. Like this person keeps telling them one thing and doing something else. Like, but you're trying to be supportive. You're trying to be that partner. You're trying to be collaborative. You're trying to do all of those things. But it feels like you're not getting what you're looking for out of this connection at this time. And it's because this other person has pulled back their energy. They're trying to avoid it. They know they messed up. They know they had no business doing what they was doing. They know they made a bad decision. So they're trying to like smooth it over as best as possible. They may be trying to wine and dine you a lot right now, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. But you know something's off. And you're disappointed. You know, we can always tell. We can always tell when something ain't something, right? People go out their way to be extra nice, extra romantic, extra considerate. And if you know that this ain't their innate energy, you be like, bruh, like, what you hiding? What you doing? What you got going on? It's that type of energy going on, okay? So, trust me, it is very much so obvious that something is going on with this. Now, what is favorable about what has happened here? We got the Ace of Pentacles fell out. The Ace of Pentacles in reverse. What's favorable about this for this Aries, Leo, Sagittarius is that the offer that they received was a bad offer. Okay, it was a bad deal. And I said this before. It was a bad deal. It doesn't feel in the right now to you, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, that this was a good idea. Again, it feels you feel horrible. It feels awful. Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, you jumped the gun. It feels like to me this Gemini, Libra, Aquarius kind of like warned you about something about this person, and you proceeded to move forward anyway. And this is where they're like, okay, well, it's your decision, and I'm just going to follow. I'm going to let you do what you do. I'm going to support you regardless. Y'all know what I'm talking about? When you're talking to people and having conversations with people about things, and you like, I wouldn't do that if I was you. But it's your decision. And I'm going to let you own your decision. That's kind of like what the energy is here that I'm picking up on. So what's favorable is that this deal, whatever deal was made to help you build your business to get gain more traction, to get that momentum, to get that extra funding. Whatever it was that you did, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, it was not the right move to make. And that's the most favorable thing that came out of this situation, is that you recognize that you made a big, big, big mistake. But this big mistake is going to work in your favor. It will work in your favor. Okay? Now, what is the consequence? Woo! Jeepers! Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. I'm sorry, Gemini. Yeah, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. Blooper. Okay. Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. This is costing you your peace of mind. This is costing you your happiness right now with this 10 of Cups in reverse. This is costing you everything. Again, knowing you messed up. You knew that this was not a good idea. You knew. But you kept it on anyway. Now, what's good is Spirit has blocked this from working out the way that you thought it was going to work out. This is a major life lesson for you with this World card being here. Okay? But this is not the time for you to tuck your head in the sand and try to run off and pretend like nothing happened. No, you got to stand 10 toes down on this, just like you did when you made the error. That's life. And it comes at you fast. Okay? Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, this is costing you everything. You need this Gemini, Libra, Aquarius in your corner. Air has to be present in order for fire to exist. You understand? There's an elemental connection here. Right? Can't get fire without air. So this Gemini, Libra, Aquarius may have been the backbone to the business. They may have given you some strategies, some ideas, and that's why they're hurt and disappointed. Because instead of you listening to them coach you through this, they decided to backdoor this Gemini, Libra, Aquarius with this earth sign, and that's where the error came up. Ooh, these two cards just came flying out. What's this about? We got the 10 of Wands followed by the Temperance in reverse. This one decision that you made was such a bad decision, y'all, that has become so burdensome because your life has been out of whack ever since you made that decision. Ever since you decided that you didn't need to consult this other person, everything's been hard, difficult. Like I said, a bad deal. A bad deal. You got the short stick. You got the short stick in this. And poor Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, they just hear like, I knew it. I knew it. They were waiting. I hate to say it. Gemini, Libra, Aquarius were waiting for you to mess up. And you proved them right. And this is what's hurtful to them. Because they also knew, maybe I should just take a step back. Maybe I shouldn't just let this person love bomb me. Oh, baby, you know you special. You know you the one. You know I would never. You know when people say, you know I would never. They be the first mother trucker in line to do what they said. I would never. For real. I ain't lying. I can give you example after example. Okay? The first person to say, I would never, be the first person to do it. That's why they tell you never say never. Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, what is this trying to teach you right now? Got the Two of Pentacles in reverse. Baby, this is teaching you that you got to make a decision. When you get to these stalemate situations where it seems like nothing is coming, you can't keep juggling and think This goes back to what we was talking about at the beginning of this reading. You know, the download I got 2 days ago that I had to write down in my phone because I couldn't get here fast enough to tell it to you. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. This is trying to teach you the importance of having this discernment, and you will have to choose a side. You can't be double-minded and think that you're going to win. If you are saying that this is where my values, my beliefs, and my morals lie, you can't be playing around over here. Because you're going to cross-contaminate what's over here or what's over there. And you knew that in the beginning, as you proceeded to move forward, you was already at an impasse with this. But you thought it was going to be okay. That's why this is so burdensome to you now. Because you thought that you could just go on in with this other person. It wasn't going to be that big deal. You know, I'll give you another example. When somebody tell you that, especially your partner, your boo thing, when somebody tell you, I don't like so-and-so, I don't F with so-and-so, and you still keep on being friends with so-and-so, how you think you going to keep the peace in your relationship, your romantic relationship, when that person is telling you, I don't fool with them? You got to make a choice. And let's be clear, some people use that as manipulative practices to try to control somebody, and I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about when somebody tells you, I don't F with them because of X, Y, and Z, and you keep on messing with that person, even though your partner, your boo thing, your ace boo coon, your whatever you want to call it, your sugar pie, honey pop, okay, whatever. When they tell you, I don't fool with that person, I don't like that person, I don't like how that person treats you, I don't like how that person treats me, you cannot sit up here and shoot, oh man, that's just Joe. You know how Joe is. Joe like to play. No, Joe full of skit. And I'm standing on it. Okay? This is what this is trying to teach you. You cannot cross-pollinate what's over here with what's over here, because it's toxic over there. So this was all so bad. Angie says this resonates with me. Thank you, Angie. This was all so bad. This was all so bad. This is horrible. What do you need to do to heal? You got to stop lying and start telling the truth with this King of Pentacles in reverse. You got to come forward. You got to tell the truth. You got to be honest with yourself, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. You got to stop lying. You've been deceitful this whole damn time. You've been deceitful. Hey, Thomas. But you definitely been deceitful. You've been lying. And see, that's how you know. As soon as that's why you've been trying to keep the peace. You're trying to keep the peace because your name ain't on the lease. You know when the stuff hit the fan, your butt gonna be in the streets. Because this ain't gonna go over well at all. This is also going to prove how you, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, have not only taken for granted this Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, but this is also going to speak to how this has been a circular pattern for you. This goes back to what we were talking about with these addictions, this roller coaster, this toxic connection, this round and round, these cycles, these triggers, these lessons. Like, this is going to prove the point. This is going to be the nail in the coffin for this Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. So you not understand the words that are coming out of my mouth. You holding on by a spider web right now, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. And so when this person, your boo thing, your bookie boo, bookie boo, 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 whatever your pet name for this person is, when they find out the truth here, what? Blessed Savior, y'all. I tried to get up, y'all, this morning so that I can give y'all my undivided attention. And guess who got up with me? Christian. And Stella. She back here snoozing behind me. I don't know if y'all hear her snoring, but she behind me. My kids, y'all. Okay, so anyway. Whatever you call this person, okay, whatever you call this person, all I can tell you is they have had this. Thomas says, I know everything. I'm telling y'all, this Gemini, Libra, Aquarius has been in the knowing. They've been knowing that they know that they know that they know. They was just waiting for you to say something. And I'm telling you that their spirit is so sick and tired. They are filled up to here with your bullshit. Okay? They have come up to here with this bullshit. Sweet Tea said, I've been knowing too. You know, I don't know if y'all have kids or not, but only a parent will know this. You know how you know your child like you know yourself. And you know how you know when your kid has been doing something and you just waiting for them to tell you the truth and they not, and you just waiting because you know it. So I give y'all examples. Since my son want to come in here messing with me, I'm gonna pick on him. When that room be clean too fast, I be like, Guess where I go look? Right underneath the bed. Cause I know you done stuffed all them clothes up underneath the bed, right? I'm just waiting for you to tell me. So when he go and say, Ma, I can't find my shirt. Well, where's your shirt? It should be in a drawer where the shirts are, right? If you put everything where it belongs, it should be in the shirt with the drawers. Shirt drawer. But then when we go look in the drawer and it's not there, and I see pajamas in the t-shirt drawer, now we got a problem. Okay? Now we got a problem. Not underneath the old rug truck. But what I'm saying is, my point is, you've been knowing, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, you've been knowing that something was off. You've been knowing it's too good to be true. You've been knowing that this person was going to mess around and get improperly influenced by this group of people. That's the persuasiveness of it all. Okay? That's the perversion of it all. And that's where they got their end. And this is where, in the beginning of this reading, if you missed it, go back and watch it on YouTube. We were talking insurmountably about the necessary need of discernment. You got to come clean, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. Either you're going to tell the truth or the truth going to tell it for you. Point blank, period. Either you're going to be honest with yourself and tell the truth, or I'm going to put it to you this way. 3 things will not remain hidden for long. That is the sun, the moon, and the truth. Just because it's cloudy, don't mean the sun ain't there and neither is the moon, because they are. And just because it's hidden doesn't mean the truth ain't going to come out. The truth will always come out, and the truth will set you free. Okay? It's going to set you free. Now, what in you needs to be healed right now? What is Spirit asking of you? Okay? Here we go. What do you need to do? You know what you need to do with this magician. You know what you need to do. This is pointing back to you. Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. You know what you need to do. Stop procrastinating. Stop bullshitting. You can sit around on the back porch and smoke a whole 811,000 cigarettes before you make a decision. But at the end of the day, you know what you need to do. Stop fighting and stop resisting it. You was proud to jump stupid when you did. So be proud to jump truthful now. You no longer can sit around here and play these games anymore. It doesn't behoove you to play these games anymore. You can be deceitful and lie all you want to. You think you can hide it? Baby, the truth is coming out. The undercurrent behind all of this is the Ten of Pentacles. You thought this was about money. You thought that if you were able to go ahead and proceed to move forward, you thought this was going to work out for you. You thought that this was going to make you a better person. You thought this was going to make you the man on these streets. Boy, was you wrong. You was wrong. You were wrong. So let me ask you a question. For those of you who align with this reading and it resonates with you, let me ask this question. What is Spirit asking of you to do today? All right. And if you the other person and this hit home, I want you to drop the candle in the chat. Just drop the candle in the chat. Now, before we wrap this up, y'all, I want to clarify the nuances here. So let's get into it. What else is going on that we don't see and don't know about? Here we go. All right, y'all. Before we wrap this up, let's go deeper. We're going to pull some clarifying cards on the first 7 cards that was pulled to texturize this energy, add the nuances to this messages, and reveal those hidden layers, okay? Y'all, I love these cards so bad. I wish they had these cards in a larger size. I really do. Because I love them cards. I love them cards. Them some storytelling cards. Them some cards, okay? Shout out to Timu for that. All right. So, this person needs to come forward and tell the truth. They know what they need to do, Spirit. What happens now? Why are they holding on currently to this lie? What is preventing them from coming forward, Spirit? They unhappy and they know they unhappy with this 9 of Wands. They done finally got a seat at the table only to be sitting at the table alone. They don't want, see, this is my problem. I'm just going to be honest. This is my problem with Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. Y'all are so full of energy and passion and strength. But when you wrong, you wrong, you wrong, you wrong. And that ego goes up like a shield, like bloop. I don't know what superhero character that is, but in my mind, I envision this being like an umbrella being open, like, and you freezing in time. But it's only so much that that's going to do to protect you. We just said there's 3 things that can't remain hidden for long: the sun, the moon, and the truth. This is going to come out. Either you going to get ahead of it and tell it yourself, or Spirit going to tell on you. But this ain't happy. This ain't living. And I think you're very disappointed to learn that this ain't the glitz and the glam that you thought it was. This ain't the life that you thought it was going to be. What else, Spirit? You go to King of Cups in reverse. Y'all see all these cards coming out for you in a reverse? You know that you've been misleading and lying. This is where we go back to the beginning. Your emotions have been overridden by your passion, your enthusiasm, your interest. You trying to win. You trying to win and win at all costs. But it's costing you your peace, your joy, your sanity, your love. How do you compromise the incompromisable? You playing games and you losing. Now, if my computer was set up right the way it's supposed to be, now would be the time to go burn, 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 burn. We got to be bootleg today. That's a different story. We ain't going to talk about that. All right. Now, what else, Spirit? This deception that you carrying, oh, it's about to come out. You just don't know how you're going to go from here. And really, to be truthful with you, with this 2 of Wands in reverse, it ain't your choice, my guy, my girl. It's not your choice. You made the decision to defraud and to lie to this other person. It's their choice to decide if they're going to stay. It's their choice to decide if they want to deal with you or not. You don't get the right to impose your bullshit on other people. It's like chess. You made a move, you hit the. Now it's their turn to make a move. And they can take as long as they want to make that move. It's their turn. You don't get the right to have what you want to have and disregard how it makes other people feel. And again, this is my second biggest. Now I'm suing everybody. I'm so done, Thomas. But this is like the second biggest thing. My grievance with Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. Y'all kind of disregard the consequences of actions and how it makes other people feel. You act like you the exception to the rule when it comes to consequences, my guy, my girl. That's not the truth here. Hey, beautiful Jennifer. Not sue her and the freaking dog. Now, Thomas, you sound like A, B, C, D, E, F, U in your Craigslist couch, your dog, your mama, and the cat, too. You know, all that. That's what you sound like right now. You big mad. Okay, here we go. What else, Spirit? Ace of Swords. Spirit about to tear you up. That's all I got to say. That clarity is about to come through. You want to procrastinate and not come forward. See, you want to be the leader when it's time to lead and you get rewards and accolades and all that good stuff. But when it's time to lead with intentions and purity, now you want to backpedal like a bike. Let me bag on up out of here. Let me take this responsibility back. Oh, no. Oh, no. Absolutely not. When you make a choice, you got to stand on that choice. For good or for bad, for rich or for poor, nobody in life gets a rewind button. But you feel like you so big, bad, and bougie, you get the choice to like backpedal? No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. So if you scared to come forward and tell the truth, Spirit about to bring it out, which is what we talked about. Change, as well as uncharted territory and deep knowing, the mystery of the unknown. It's coming out. It's coming out. And this is where I go back to this Gemini, Libra, Aquarius being upset that they've been knowing this whole time with this high priestess. They've been knowing the whole time and mad because they ain't listened to their first heart. They didn't listen to their best instincts. They've been knowing. They've been knowing. But you accuse them. You always making stuff up. You don't know nothing. You just don't like X, Y, and Z. Man, I'm finna get this money. You finna get this money and this money finna get you. I'm about to get the bag. Didn't know the bag had a hole in it. I mean, I'm just saying. This is what we are. All right, this is where we are. Now, I want you to think about this. If this reading resonates with you, what has been said and what has not been said yet? What have you seen in your everyday life and you didn't want to believe? And what feeling or emotion did this invoke in you that you tried to deny? I want you to think about that. Now, I'm going to take a quick pause for the calls and remind y'all that I got new merch in the store. Go ahead and get your coffee cups or your t-shirts, whatever you want, your hoodies. You know, hoodie season is coming. Get it, get it, get it. Okay? Booking is now available for personal readings. Spots fill fast. Okay? You can book me at PiscesTarot.com. That link is also in the bio. And lastly, if you have not subscribed to my YouTube channel, now is the time for you to go ahead and do so. Thank you. All right, now let's get over here into these closing thoughts. Get your paper pens and notebooks, paper pen and notebooks, because I promise you I'm about to give you some information. All right, here we go. right, y'all. Let's bring it home. We have traveled through emotions. We've got some clarity, some chaos, and some choices, some decisions to make. All right. We can lead you to water, but we can't make you drink. Okay. We just can't. All right. But what has been revealed is potential and not prophecy. Okay. Spirit lights the path, but you still hold the pen. All right. So you can write your own story. What is the potential final outcome here? What is this Aries, Leo, Sagittarius finally gonna do? And I'm gonna pull cards on Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, what they gonna do too. All right, first things first. The Death card. Okay. Once this truth come out, this Aries, Leo, Sagittarius is definitely going to try their best to try to course correct, fix this situation, get a rebirth going, they're going to be holding on for dear life. I told y'all they was already holding on for dear life like a damn spider web. But they really going to try that. They really going to try to set the tone that goes back to that little, you know you my boo, man. Come on, don't let this come between us. You know how that go. It's the same song, just a different day. It's the same bowel movement, just a different toilet. You understand what I'm saying? It's the same thing over and over and over again. It's only so much that you can do with this. But they gonna try. The Eight of Swords. Until they are willing to accept the fact that they are the cause of their own problems and accept accountability and responsibility for their actions, this ain't gonna go nowhere. I'm sorry to say. This is pointing back to you, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, about what you're doing, when you're doing it, and how you are doing it. Thank you, Gemini boy, for my gift. This points back to you. Accountability. The onus is on you. Stop trying to defer this mess to everybody else like they made a decision. No, you made the decision. You made the decision. It wasn't me. I was minding my business. I was just minding my joy, hemming and hawing along with my life, trying to be encouraging, trying to be motivating, trying to be supportive, giving you guidance, giving you my prayers, my best wishes, and you thought that this other person knew more than me. And your feelings are going to be real hurt. You're going to be very disappointed with how they lead this. Very, very disappointed. Very disappointed. Like, what are we talking about here? Now you want to have your feelings hurt? Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, you started it. I'm just backing it up. I gotta stop. I need to really stop, y'all. Something wrong with me, okay? Now, you also are going to end with the Four of Cups here. My Shayla. Oh, my Shayla. But you thought the grass was green on the other side. Don't act like you don't care now. You made this mistake. You did it. It wasn't them. You did it. Spirit saying again, it's time for you to wake up with this Four of Cups. I'm sorry, Four of Swords. It's time for you to wake up. It's time for you to smell the coffee. It's time for you to recognize. Cody said, they feelings hurt from their sabotage? Absolutely. You know, some people just think that they can have their cake and eat it too. That's what makes it toxic. We already talked about the toxicity of the connection. It's a circle of motion. They keep on keeping on. That's what makes it toxic. You know, it's the most unhealthiest people who go around here projecting and doing stuff to other people and then want to have the audacity to say you did something to them. Raise your hand in the chat if you ever came across a person like that. They out here doing all the nonsense, the foolishness, the plum foolery. Listen, and then want to have a conundrum, have a full-fledged meltdown when you stand up for yourself. Absolutely not. This all points back to you. Aries, Leo said, I love you, but I'm going to say it. My mama Aries, trust me, I know. Child, them Aries, they truly act like the baby of the zodiac. Toddlers. And that's being polite. All right, now. So, what is the final outcome for this Gemini, Libra, Aquarius? Let's tap into their energy, spirit. What are they going to do once this truth come out? They're very much so thinking about leaving, but it feels like they're not going to leave, okay? It feels like they want to leave, but it feels like they're not going to leave, okay? With that Six of Swords in reverse, yeah. For some reason, they're invested in this connection too. Or they could be like me. Hell no. I ain't going nowhere. You're going to have to pay me to leave. I know that's right. Pay me. Somebody said they're going to sue. They possibly might be getting divorced. You're going to have to buy me out, but I ain't voluntarily doing nothing. Okay? What else? The moon. The moon. Emotional clarity. Insight. Things being exposed and revealed. So what probably was happening is, at first they were not going to leave this situation alone. They were invested as a thought partner, as a business partner, as a lover. So to find this out and have all this stuff being exposed, remember I told you, if you don't tell it, spirit gonna tell it, it's being told. And that awakening is coming out. Okay? Those things that we didn't know nothing about, they coming out. They coming out, boo. So what you gonna do? Woo! Got the Ace of Pentacles here. I feel like this Gemini, Libra, Aquarius is about to get real wise. Remember how I said, and I was not shuffling the card. Remember I said, you're going to have to pay me out of this? I ain't going nowhere. You're going to have to buy me? I wouldn't be surprised if this Gemini, Libra, Aquarius comes up with their own proposition. It's going to cost you a pretty penny. If there was not any documentation or any formalities put in place, be very, very, very careful, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, that this Gemini, Libra, Aquarius don't come back to sue you for stakes. Or if there was formalities in place, be careful that they don't come back to try to sue you. But there's something coming out of this. They got a proposition for you, but you ain't going to like it. But they not leaving empty-handed. I'm going to tell you that right now. I'm not going. Lord, they about to make me start singing today. And we got the Five of Wands here. They gonna leave quietly, okay? Because they don't want the drama. They said, just pay me. Just pay me. Hey, boo. Just pay me my money. Just give me my money. Just give me my money. This Gemini, Libra, Aquarius has something wrapped up in this business adventure as well. They want their money. No, I ain't going nowhere, sugar lump. Give me my money. He said, I want more than money. Yeah. They want their money. It's something in this connection that's already here that they're invested in. And they're not going to be so quick to remedy this, okay? So they got some choices that they're going to have to make. But it's going to work for them. They ain't going to sit around here and play the fiddle with you, though. They said a change gonna come. A change is gonna come. All right, Sam Cooke. You know what I mean? That's just where we are with this. Change gonna come. But they ain't walking away quietly. It's too late to apologize. You got to correct your wrongs. And for this Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, Aries, or Sagittarius, the correcting is in compensation. Boy. Compensate me. Compensate me. With my coin. Give me my money. That's all I gotta say. Woo, child, that was a journey. I want to thank you guys so much for rocking with me, your girl Mimi Lightseer over here at Pisces Tarot. If this reading stirred up something in your soul, don't forget to subscribe, like, and drop a comment in the section below. Let me know what hit the hardest. Personal readings are available right now at PiscesTarot.com. And don't forget that merch is available. Get your vibe today. Remember, I would never DM you about a reading. Ever. Okay, somebody doing it, that ain't me. All right. Stay protected and only book with me through official links, which is my website at PiscesTarot.com. And Pisces Tarot is misspelled on purpose. Pisces. 3 C's. Okay. Anyway. To my day one guppies, my newest stars, and every divine soul in between, I want to thank you guys so much for showing up with me this morning and bearing with me through these technical difficulties. I do appreciate you. Most importantly, thank you to everyone who has gifted me not only your time, your talent, but your treasure, okay? I appreciate you for pouring into me as I have done unto you, and trust me, it goes a long way, all right? Last but not least, y'all know everybody out here fighting a battle that you cannot see. People cray. I seen somebody fighting a box. I said, what did the box do to you? Punching a box. Who is punching an empty box? You know something is wrong with you. But nevertheless, everybody's fighting a battle that you cannot see. So remember to be kind, patient, and gentle with others as much as you are yourself. How people treat you, that is not your business. But how you respond is. So make sure that you leave a little bit of love everywhere you go today. And I will see you next time.